I know a lot of people say it's cheaper to own a home, but if we do the numbers, what's up, y'all, and welcome back to yet another edition of As Told by Bree. I am, of course, Bree, and I'm back with yet another video. And I know a few months ago I told y'all that I would be starting a home ownership series on my channel, and then I made one video and never got back to it. So this is me spinning the block, and today we are talking all things home ownership. So I have lived in Atlanta for 5 years, going on 6 now. Can't believe it, I know. And I rented for 4 of those years, and I've been a homeowner for 6 months now, which I also can't believe. I cannot believe I have been in my house for 6 whole months. And before I do any of these home ownership videos, I like to make it very, very clear that I am not a real estate professional, okay? I am not here to give you guys real estate advice, nor am I here to give you guys financial advice, nor am I here to give you guys investment advice. I am here to give you guys my experiences and my perspective based off of those said experiences and share my insight with you guys. So I want to have a really open and lighthearted conversation on some of the differences that I've seen between renting and owning a home. So with all that being said, sit back, relax, and go ahead and grab you a glass of wine because we got a lot to talk about. Okay, so the first and most obvious difference between renting and owning a home is the financial commitment. With owning a home, there's a lot larger of a financial commitment that is required, especially upfront. When it comes to purchasing a home, you have to have money for a down payment, and you also have to have money for closing costs. You also have to have money for furnishing your home, and a lot of things that people don't think about when it comes to the finances involved with owning a home is that there are continuous, when I say continuous, I mean continuous, unexpected maintenance expenses, okay, that are outside of your mortgage. For example, last week or the week before, I had to buy a filter for my refrigerator. One day I was getting ready to get some water out of my refrigerator, and there was a light that came on that said my filter needed to be changed, and I'm like, what? I don't even know where to get a filter. I don't know what kind of filter to get. How much do these things cost? That ended up being a random $50 expense that I did not account for. You know, I don't even really want this. I'm like, this is happening against my will at this point. So like, it's stuff like that. Even if you have a new construction, over the course of time, there are going to be financial expenses that come with owning a home, whether it's getting a roof fixed or whether you come into some plumbing issues. All of those inconveniences come with a dollar sign. And when you're in an apartment, you don't have to worry about those things. Like, if my toilet is clogged in my apartment, I can call maintenance. If I'm having a bug problem in my apartment, I can call maintenance. They'll double up the pest control, whatever the case may be, etc., etc. When you're in a home, all of those things fall on you. So from a financial standpoint, a lot of people just think about the down payment that it requires to be in a home, but there are so many more things that come along with being a homeowner financially that people don't necessarily talk about up front. Okay, so let's talk about flexibility. I will say one thing that renting has over owning is the amount of flexibility that there is. It's a much shorter time commitment, at most 15 months, anywhere from 3 months to a month-to-month lease to a 3-month lease to a 6-month, 12-month, 15-month. Like, the time commitment is a lot shorter as compared to when you purchase a home. You're entering into what could be a 15 or 30 year long mortgage. So when you're renting, let's say you get a job in another city, you have the ability to get up and go a lot easier than if you were settled down in a home, unless you decide to put a tenant in your home and have them pay your mortgage for you, or if you decide to Airbnb it, or if you just decide to sell it and put it on the market altogether. With rent, your expenses are fixed. Okay, your month to month living expenses are fixed. And when I say your living expenses, I mean rent. You know, you're going to be paying X amount for rent, X amount for trash, pest control. All of those things are fixed on a month to month basis. As a homeowner, it fluctuates. Okay, you have your mortgage, which is fixed. However, those extra things that I talked about, those unexpected things that pop up and just like regular maintenance on your home, that can change your monthly expenses on a month-to-month basis. So I know a lot of people say it's cheaper to own a home, but if we do the numbers, I don't know. I can't say from my personal experience that is necessarily true. Now, from a standpoint of the bang for your buck, oh, very much so. There's nowhere in the city of Atlanta, and when I'm talking about the city of Atlanta, I'm talking about downtown, midtown, and Buckhead, that I can get what I'm getting for the price that I'm paying in my mortgage. I live in a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom townhome, new construction townhome, and there is nowhere in Atlanta where I can get a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom apartment for the price that I'm paying. Okay, so let's talk equity, okay? That's everybody's favorite word, whether you're a realtor, an investor, a homeowner, baby, everybody loves them a little equity, okay? And I will say that is one of the benefits that comes with being a homeowner, is that as you pay your monthly mortgage, you're building equity in your home. As time progresses and things happen in your area, your home has the ability to build equity based on those factors as well. As you make improvements to your home, that can build equity as well. You don't have the ability to do that when you're renting in an apartment. However, when it comes to equity, and this is another thing that a lot of people don't talk about. People just talk about equity. These realtors are just so gung-ho on actually closing the deal, selling the home, that they don't give you the fine print, okay? Your mortgage is broken down by 4 things, okay? You have your principal, your interest, your taxes, and your insurance, okay? Those 4 things make up your mortgage payment. When people talk equity, they don't talk about the fact that when you first start making those mortgage payments, baby, the principal to interest ratio is mind-blowing, okay? When I came upon my first mortgage payment and I saw how the mortgage payment was broken out when it comes to principal versus interest, oh, I could have thrown up. I was like, oh, ain't no way I'm never gonna pay this loan off. Like, it's never gonna happen. But over the course of time, and as you start to pay down your principal, it starts to shift. But baby, those first couple payments, baby, the equity is slim, okay? For those who may not know what a principal is, the principal payment is what you're paying towards your actual loan, what you're paying towards the payment to your house, not your insurance, not your taxes, not your interest, etc. Going towards you paying down your mortgage loan. Okay, let's talk about security, okay? I will say, when I was looking at homes, that was one of my biggest concerns, security, because in an apartment, the security is built in. I was in a high rise. So y'all know with high rises, a lot of times there's a concierge at the front desk. A lot of times you can't even get into the building unless you have the proper key, the proper fob, etc. You can't, in some high rises, you can't even get up to a particular floor without having the key to that specific floor. So the accessibility for someone who doesn't live there is low. Like, you're not going to be able to get up to you're not even going to be able to get into my building, get past the front desk, get up to my floor. The level of security is high, okay? In luxury apartment complexes, but whatever that means, right? So when you're in a home, you kind of have to build your own security, okay? And when I say that, you have to get your own alarm system. You have to not install your cameras, but you have to like source those things. Like you have to get your cameras. Like you're responsible for that. You're responsible for the security of yourself. And depending on your neighborhood, it can be a lot more accessible to the average person than if you are renting. Security, whether you want to be armed, whether you want to strap up. A lot of times you don't really have to think about those things in apartments. You know, like the security is kind of already there, and there's almost like a higher power that's responsible for you when you're in an apartment. Granted, you're your own person, you're literally just renting that unit. However, if something happens, somebody has to answer for what happened. When you're a homeowner, you come home and it's just you, you know, you're not walking into a building where there are other tenants, where you're likely to see someone in the elevator or run into a familiar face. Granted, you have neighbors when you're a homeowner, but like, it's just different, okay? So I would say security is something that you need to think about when it comes to renting versus owning, especially if you're like myself and you are a woman, you know? Another difference in owning versus renting, and maybe this is something that I only think about because I like to decorate, but in a home, you have a lot more freedom and flexibility when it comes to how you design your home. Obviously, as you guys know, when you're renting, you are giving this unit back to this landlord or property management company, whoever, at the end of your lease term. In a home, you don't have someone who's governing what you can and cannot do. In an apartment, if you want that security deposit back and if you don't want fees on your ledger at the end of that lease, oh baby, you better not do anything permanent, okay? Y'all know how it is when you're renting. I know how it is because I did all those things when I was renting. And when I moved out of my last apartment, guess what they did? They stamped a paint charge on me. But now that I'm in a home, I don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? You just have a lot more freedom and flexibility. If you want to do some paneling on your walls, you can do that. If you want to install a floating TV stand, you can do that. You can do wallpaper. You can do pretty much anything cosmetically, architecturally that you want to do on the interior of your home. I know sometimes if you're in a community where there's an HOA, then there can be some stipulations surrounding that. But y'all get what I'm saying. When it comes to being in a home, baby, you can run wild, and that's what I like to do. Okay, so I will say when I was in an apartment, there was a larger sense of like community and programming. Y'all know when you're in an apartment, they literally get a budget to put on different community events for residents on a monthly basis. Sometimes it can be multiple times a month, etc., depending on the community. So I will say as a homeowner, you don't get a lot of that, you know, like when you meet your neighbors, it's kind of like in passing. I mean, I'm in a community where there is a homeowners association and the HOA is responsible for doing things like that, but be for real. If you're a homeowner and you live in a community where there is a HOA, you know good and doggone well the HOA don't be putting on no events, especially not at a high frequency. Sometimes it's like, what are we paying this homeowners association fee every single month for? So yeah, I will say in an apartment, if you're looking to like meet people, if you're looking for a sense of true community, that's a perk of being in an apartment. Because they used to do a bunch of cute stuff for us. Paint and sips, poolside barbecues, you know, the little things that make your experience in an apartment community. That you don't really get a lot of that when you're in a home. And definitely, like I said, not at the frequency that you would if you were renting. I would say that owning a home requires a lot higher level of maturity. Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff when it comes to owning a home that is solely, like, you're solely responsible for. And if you're a first-time homeowner like myself, sometimes I'm like, what is this? What is that? Sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, if I'm being totally honest with you. but there are things that I'm responsible for. You have to stay on top of a lot of things because this isn't a 1-year commitment. This is a 30-year mortgage, and you are the owner of this home, and you're responsible for what goes on in this home, what happens to this home, upkeep, etc., taxes. It's, you know, like, it's just a lot. It's a lot that goes into it, and you just want to make sure that you're on top of it. You don't want things to slip through the cracks. It's just a lot higher level of responsibility and maturity that comes with being a homeowner. Okay. Alrighty, so to get a little bit more technical, but not too technical, I'm really not trying to get into the weeds of this. I want to stay on a very surface level, have a very surface level conversation with y'all, very lighthearted, and not get into the nitty and the gritty. But one thing I actually did not know when it comes to owning a home is that you get tax benefits. And when tax season comes around, you file a 1098 on behalf of your home and you get a tax benefit. This year I got tax benefits for my home, and then I also got benefits for, baby, y'all see this office? Y'all see this office? This was a write-off, okay? My office is literally a write-off. To be able to do that was amazing, because I wasn't able to do that when I was renting because I had a 1-bedroom shoebox. So by building out this office, I was able to, one, create a space for myself in terms of creating content, getting work done, because not only is it an office, but it kind of serves as like a studio as well. So to be able to write that off along with my 1098, that was a win. However, you can still write things off if you rent. I mean, that's something you need to talk to your your local tax professional about, but yeah, just get you some extra space. That's what it comes down to. Just get you enough space to be able to do the things that you want and need to do. And lastly, with a home, you are literally building generational wealth, okay? Like I said, this is mine, you know? Like, when you own a home, you don't have to give it back to a landlord. It's literally yours as long as you continue to make those monthly mortgage payments, okay? Whether you want to move away, rent your house out, and come back 5 years later, you'll always have a home, you know? Like, you'll always have somewhere to go back to. And one thing about homes, they appreciate over time. And a home is something that you can pass down to generations to follow. That's something that you can keep in your family. Which is one of the reasons why I decided to purchase my home. And rent was just getting too motherfucking expensive, okay, baby? The way rent prices are looking now, I was like, it don't make no doggone sense. So that is all. That is my spiel for my thoughts on renting versus owning. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you guys were able to take some things away from this. If you can relate to any of the things that I said, let me know down below in the comments. I would love to hear some of your thoughts. Definitely leave those down in the comments below. Did I leave anything out? Did I skip over anything? Let me know. So with all that being said, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Later.